Okay, hello everyone. This is supposed to be our YouTube live. YouTube was not cooperating. My assistant tried to pre-schedule some things, but I am operating on a MacBook Pro from 10 years ago. So who knows, right? Computers. So we're going to do this on Zoom and then upload it later into YouTube. Anyway, this week in review, again, cats and a dog. So what this week taught me, I'm going to put my little lap table up here, was about drugs on the animals. So for the first time in my experience and my client's experience, we're able to get feedback from the animal about the drug. But how is the animal feeling? You know, like when we give a drug to a human, they'll come back in 20 minutes or an hour later and say, how are you feeling? Did it work? Do you need more painkillers? Do you need less? Because as some of you know, I broke my leg in 2021. So I'm familiar with this. Okay, so we're going to talk about drugs. We're going to talk about regulating the nervous system of your animal. Because when the animal, Aria, was going in the truck to the vet for the second time, you know, that's a lot of fear and a lot of scream, you know, they're screaming and yeah. So, and our dog that we talked to this week, there's an interesting story about that Dobbie shared with us. Okay, so what do you want to do first? Should we do dog or should we do cat first? I don't know. And remember, we still have this going on, the peaceful pet tree. So Aria's on the peaceful pet tree. We put her on there last week. And there's 50 leaves. So 50 traumas cleared. So then let's talk about Aria. Aria is a little cat. She's about 10 pounds. She's a lot of hair and she's really sweet. She's got a personality of kind of like Central Coast, California. She says things like, thank you so much. And when she's in pain, I say, are you in pain? She says, I'm a little bit of pain, a little bit. That's all she talks. She's very, very sweet little girl. So Aria had a surgery and there's the painkillers with, is it I don't want to say which one, but it'd be like a mainstream name. Okay. And then there's gabapentin. And then there's the opioids. Okay. And then we discovered something else this week that's called Beamer. Okay. So this is it, Beamer. Beamer. It's not the BMW vehicle. It's spelled this way, Beamer. Okay. So Uri had this surgery. It was deeper and more intense than predicted. Aria was in so much pain she had left her body because she wasn't on, you know. So okay. So in giving the opioids, Aria had the same response as I've had as a human. So with the opioid, you don't feel the pain, and every idea you have is a great idea. Like when I was at home with a broken bone on an opioid, when I came off the opioid, I had 25 Post-its, you know, filled out all with great ideas and no traction on anything. So anybody that's been on these, you know how, you know, everything is great. Woo, the food tastes great. Everything tastes great. You constantly get new ideas. So it's like, boom, there's an idea. Boom, there's an idea. Boom. So this is what was going on with Aria this week when she was given this dose of opioid. Yeah, the pain, okay. But then she'd be scratching at the door because she was separated from the rest of the house, so she couldn't hurt herself. And her surgery was on, we'll call it the feet, because I want to be careful that I don't give away any private information on this public YouTube. So, you know, we don't want her scratching at the door. So I would talk to her and say, hey, oh, remember? She's like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I'm doing. She wouldn't stay on the bed. Then she'd get off the bed. And I mean, but it's similar to me when I had my gallbladder out. I was outside doing yard work in May. I think it was the same day I had the gallbladder out. It was the opioids do that. You don't feel the pain and you get lots of ideas. So that was the feeling that I was getting. Because remember, I'm an empath. So I feel what the animal feels and I hear them in English, Spanish, and German. So I'm able to communicate with them. And I trained, as some of you know, to work on humans. So I have over 600 body processes and energetic processes that I pull on to transmute the energy that's going on, the fears that are going on, the all of that. So it's threefold. It's the empath, the communication, and the body processes that I gift all to the animal. So I'm like, hey, what about the dark right before the first bird? She's like, oh, I like that. Oh, so why don't you go on your tree, your cat tree, and it's right by the window, and wait for the dark before the first bird. She's like, oh, good idea. So she runs over there and gets on the cat tree. 5 minutes later, I get a message from her owner, her skin mama. Aria is scratching at the door again. So I go back in and I'm like, Aria, thought you were gonna be in your tree waiting for the dark before the first bird. And she says, oh yeah, I forgot. And that's what the opioids do. They're like, we have ideas and then we run with it and this. So I ran some body processes that she would metabolize this, and I ran some processes, trauma clearing with drug-induced scenarios. That's really important for animals that have gone through surgery, because things and ideas come in while they're on the drugs, and we know that as humans who have had surgery and been on these types of drugs. So I'm asking, well, what? I'm understanding now why the vets like another drug that's called gabapentin that was under the name Neurontin. That was its brand name, Neurontin. And that deals with the nerves and the information in the body, traveling in the body through the nervous system highway, right? So the information about the pain doesn't get to you, but it's indiscriminate. So all the information that you require gets to you a lot slower, not just the pain, everything else. So it kind of gives a drunken look to the body that's on it. And this makes the animal not scratching at the door if they're kind of in a drunken state versus the opioid where they're getting all these ideas. However, when the information isn't flowing, the information about healing isn't flowing. Healing have had experiences both where I've been bit and there's been venom, and I didn't lose the use of my hand because I was on gabapentin, and the venom didn't travel very quickly and as far. So if you get, yeah, so that's how it operates. And if you're dealing with a venomous situation, it's a positive. If you're dealing with a healing situation, it gets to be a little bit less than a positive. But then like I said, the animal isn't re-injuring themselves because they're down. Okay, I'm getting like my timer went off because I don't want to talk for too long. So anyway, I'm like, what else can we use? Well, I know two people that have this device called the Beamer, and it works microvascularly, and I've been on it myself. So the skin mama, the owner, then rented a Beamer from one of those two people just for a couple weeks. Now all the cats have gone on it. It'll go over to her mom's. It gets more oxygen to the organs and where it needs to go. I don't understand exactly how it works. I only know that it works because, as some of you know, I have a brain injury, and that's where this portal opened to be able to hear these animals. And I've used it, and I've wrapped this stuff around my head, and it's helped me be able to function on certain days where it's like I've got to get from Wisconsin to Iowa and be able to function. I can't have my brain trauma interfere with this trip, kind of a thing. So she rented that, and that is what has been healing Aria, is the Beamer. So today there's no drugs, just the Beamer, and it also helps with the pain. So, and again, I mean, there's whole YouTube videos on it that explain how it works and have test subjects and all of that. And I've watched a few of them and I still don't understand it. But I don't have to understand how something works to know that it works, to have used it myself or have been with an animal that's used it. My Chico, my Chico, let me see here, who dropped his body. But I swear to God, this animal got a whole nother year out of life because of the body processes and the Beamer. We used to go to my friend who has it, and he would have 4 treatments at least on the Beamer. And he would walk in and start limping, like to show her which leg, which hip. It mostly was one of his hips because he was 17. So there was arthritis, and she would know, oh, you want a Beamer? And she would turn it on, and then he would prance away. The inflammation was visible. We could see the inflammation go down in his legs, in his joints. It was visibly noticeable from 4 treatments of Beamer, which he had back to back. This was a 17-pound dog that was 17 years old, Chico. So yeah, like I said, I only know 2 people that have it. If I ask them, they'll give me names of more. And they do have an extra, so they rent it out. And I think this is something for animal owners. Like if you're having a dog that's being spayed or a cat, rent this for a week, and then you can use it too, and your whole family can use it. You just, it's not a hard thing to use. It's even with my eyes, I could use the screen that comes with it. It's about 10 inches long. So we got that. Oh, and then in the truck, I was regulating her nervous system. So I was connected with her with Aria, and it's like in for 4, Aria. Come on, breathe with me. Hold for 6. A little bit more. And then out for 8, but I would hum. I'd be like, and then I'd start again. And I did that for an hour because she was at the emergency vet for 3 hours. So the first hour I did that with her and being telepathically connected with her. It made her ride in the truck a little more comfortable. And I, uncreated the fear, but still she's in pain. She's in a box. She's in a truck, it's abnormal. The cats have just told me how it's so abnormal to be in a car and be moving without using their legs and all their senses. That's why they freak out so much. Okay, let's talk about Dobbie. Dobbie's a little dog, I don't know, 20 pounds, maybe. Quite active little guy, wears a lot of pajamas. Like he's got the t-shirts on with the little hoodie. So his interesting thing that came up was when it gets dark outside and his skin mama, isn't home, he gets very worried and very anxious. And this is what he told me. The cougar, he showed me a cougar, a mountain lion, might get her. So when it gets dark, that dusk, then he gets very, very concerned that the cougar might get her, might get his person. Cougar might get her. It's not safe. It's not safe to be out there. So I thought, and this is what I do is, just come up with ideas, like how can we? And so I said, well, I couldn't convince him that there weren't any cougars here. I mean, there's been 1 cougar in 20 years in this area of the United States, but Dobbie wasn't having it. Whatever in his background, he's had an experience with a cougar or heard about it. So he's very concerned about the cougars out there getting his person. So I'm like, okay. Well, Dobbie, how about if she puts on cat smell, like a cat smell when she's in the car, when it turns dark? So then, and he's like, oh, that's a really good idea. And then his energy, just like he relaxed, he's like, whoosh. It's like, yeah, then the cougar won't be interested in her if she's another cat. And then he also told me, oh yeah, and be sure to roll in some cat poo, like get it right back in here. So she smells like a cat, right? So he's like, okay. So we've agreed on that. Now, his person, his skin mama, isn't going to spray on cat urine or roll in cat poo. So I don't know how long this will work because some of these dogs are pretty smart. You can't fool them. I don't know if he'll keep believing that she smells like a cat when it gets dark, that she's doing this on purpose, or if she's going to come home tonight and he'll be like, you don't smell like a cat. I thought you were going to put cat smell on you. I don't know. I'll find out if it works or not. So anyway, Beamer meditation, cougar. And so next week you'll get emails to remind you of this with the link so that people can hop on with their animals and I can read their animals live on the YouTube live. Like I said, that's the plan. Although in my life, very little goes as planned. So we'll just keep on keeping her on here, keep her moving one foot in front of the other. Every week I will have something up from Thursday at 7:00. Even if YouTube isn't cooperating with me, and I'm sure it's not YouTube's fault. I'm sure there's something I am missing that I'm not clicking on. Remember, that's part of my thing, like my eyes, I can't see the screen very well, but I can see what animals show me in their head. So it was a trade-off. Anyway, Julie Evans, animal communicator. Bye-bye.